Hi, I'd like to share a poem with you from the book Tell the Black Water, which I published in 2005. The poem's called Southern Lights. This skinned light inside eyelid is as personal as sight may see, not stuck on the world's particulars nor borrowed imagery. Even the South Pole scouts, after each night's count of fingers and toes, must have, before sleep closed, seen this. Those who returned, illustrious, shrunken, had printers pressed the light verbatim for temperate textbook education. It reached me. I've started by reading this poem because Marie and I are going to do a series of readings and interviews and looking at poems from both books, Tell the Black Water and Peacekeeper's Lamp. This one seems to fit as a good first poem to read because it sort of sets out the poet's intention, something about the difference that education makes in one's life, whether that's a spiritual education or the education we have at school. And it's summed up by these explorers who are having to count their fingers and toes because of the frost. They still share that same sense of perspective and attitude that I might perceive myself. It was triggered by seeing the Aurora Australis, a magical display of lights. And the original drafts that I wrote focused on the light. But I realised eventually as I worked my way through it that I needed to find the story inside the light. And that story is this sense of us seeing our own personal vision. So this skinned light inside eyelid is as personal as sight may see. This light we experience when we close our eyes, it's ours, it's unique. Everyone else can do the same thing, but the experience they have is unique. So it's not stuck on the world's particulars nor borrowed imagery. And I guess that sort of sets up a way of understanding the way I see life. This notion of having one's personal vision. There are a couple of technical points in it I'd like to point out. One is the first line, this skinned light inside eyelid, is a real example of assonance based on the vowel sound I. This skinned light inside eyelid. And it's like talking about the interior or integrity or the internals, this skinned light inside eyelid. It's what we have for us, ourselves. And there's a bit of a contradiction. I'm sort of saying that it's not stuck on the world's particulars nor borrowed imagery. Then I immediately leap into the South Pole scouts. So whether that's borrowed imagery or just using imagery relevant to the topic of the Southern Lights is yet to be determined. And finally, there's this transmission of knowledge that these explorers, particularly I'm thinking around Shackleton's time and Scott and photographs by Frank Hurley, they reveal this world which is just on the cusp. It's a liminal world. It's a world where old black and white etchings and photographs seem to convey the sanctity and the beauty and the potential horror of the place so well. And that's part of the education, that for those who returned, illustrious, shrunken, they've become diminished physically by what they've been through, but they're able to press the light verbatim, to get that light and bring it there so a young person in a school seat in a country town can be a recipient of it. I'll make one final comment on it. I've used the word verbatim, which up until the time I used it in this poem, it only had existence in one place as far as I knew, and that was in Clancy of the Overflow. That word verbatim was there to talk about word for word or truth. So there you go. That's from Tell the Black Water, the first poem in it, Southern Lights.